Well, good morning. My name is Federico Tozzi. I'm the Executive Director of the Italy American Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to thank all of you for being here this morning. Thank you very much. This is the sixth edition of our Luxury Summit, and we are very happy that KPMG has been sustaining this initiative for so many years. So first of all, let me thank them, our event sponsor, KPMG. Then we have a gold sponsor. Thank you, our friend from Tasty Square. We did a wonderful event with them 2 weeks ago. And of course, thank you also our silver sponsors, Martinoia, La Compagnie, and of course, Tugano. You all get all these great gadgets that we always have available at these events. So thank you very much. We're going to start right away. And we have two panels today, but before we start with the panel, we're going to have Kenneth Kim, lead economist at KPMG, that is going to give you an introduction of the state of the luxury sector. Kenneth, please, join me on the floor. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Federico. Is this one? Okay. Buongiorno and good morning. Very happy to be here. And for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about the outlook for the U.S. economy and also touch upon things happening around the world. So I will talk about our outlook for the U.S. economy from the viewpoint of KPMG Economics. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. So there's three sections. First, I'm going to start off with a broad overview of the economy, and then the next section, I'll take a deeper dive into how the consumer is doing. And then the final section will talk about longer-term factors that will persist for the years and probably decades to come. We have a period now where the rates are converging. They're all, kind of getting squashed together, which to me means that the Fed is finished raising interest rates. That is our outlook, that the Fed will no longer raise interest rates for this business cycle. Another reason why the U.S. consumer is doing well is you've probably heard excess savings. And again, when I mentioned that stimulus from the federal government, the checks and unemployment insurance benefits, well, consumers, they have dry powder. So, dry powder is typically a term you hear for private equity. But hey, also consumers have dry powder. And the peak was 2.3 trillion back in 2021. Now that's a lot of money, trillions of dollars. But let me put it into context. The size of our US economy back in 2021 was 24 trillion. So 2.3 out of 24, that's a 10%, think of it like a 10% ROI, return on investment, that consumers had a windfall of. And yes, they did save some of that money, but they also went out shopping with that money and purchased a lot of goods, as well as services. Now, one thing that is not going to change is just like what's happening in other developed economies. As many of you know, in Italy, Japan, yes, the US, our population is becoming older.
Thank you. And now we proceed with the first panel. And I would like to call on stage here John Pierce, Global CCO of Hudson Rouge, one of our members, a good friend. So thank you, John, for joining us. And the other panelists, Fabrizio Di Martino, Director of Marketing and E-commerce for Citizen M, a luxury hotel chain. Stacey Anderson, CMO of the Americas for Tod's Group. And Dennis Ulrich, co-founder of Piazza Italia, also chairman of a company that was acquired, Richline, a company was acquired by Berkshire Hathaway. So please have a seat and joining us for this very interesting panel, how recent trends affect the luxury industry. After this panel, we will have a Q&A session, and then we'll have a quick coffee break. Thank you.
Right. All right. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the gracious introduction, and thanks for having us here. And panelists, thank you for being here. I'm really excited. I'm John Pierce, and I do have some crib notes. I'm going to go through brief biographies of our panelists, just so you really get to know them. And I'm super excited because we have Stacy from the world of fashion, Dennis from the world of precious metals and jewelry, and then Fabrizio from hospitality. So you can imagine the interesting alchemy between the three of them as we talk about the state of luxury today. So Stacy first, as we've said, Chief Marketing Officer of the Americas for Tod's Group. She oversees marketing, e-commerce, the VIP program, public relations, events, and consumer experience. And since overseeing the e-commerce group, business has tripled over the last 3 years. Congratulations. And in her career, she's also worked for Versace and Ferragamo. And her expertise is in e-commerce and data and marketing. So she was an early adopter of digital and oversaw Versace's e-commerce business in the US and initiated global digital initiatives such as social media, influencer programs, and live streaming. So a pioneer. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Dennis, to her left, is the co-founder of Piazza Italia, which is a mentorship and education program for Italian businesses looking to expand here in the US. He is the retired CEO of the Richline Group, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company, and just has a rich purview over many, many different companies in the precious metals and jewelry sectors. So, welcome.
Thank you.
A couple more questions, I think, just when it comes to Gen Z. I mean, I read some factoid recently that, by 2026, the percentage of the luxury market, the buyers, will be heavily, heavily Gen Z. This is the first generation that has completely grown up in a digital, internet, social world, a different kind of being than all of us in this room. So, some quick thoughts maybe about how you're preparing for Gen Z. Dennis, maybe we'll start with you, just in how you're coaching and mentoring Italian businesses. Does that topic come up very often?
Well, there you could talk about supply chain, sustainability, which are become high priorities for a lot of the younger people, and they want to buy from brands and companies that they feel do good for the environment and for themselves. So in jewelry, it's when you talk about if everybody saw the blood diamonds and gold mining, it's a dirty business. So in diamonds, they're have to be ethically sourced. They have to help the community. So more and more the consumers are not saying, oh, this is a 1 carat diamond, I want to spend $3,000, but where's this diamond from? Who's manufacturing it? Lab diamonds have been a big rage in the last, say, 5 years because it doesn't come from the ground. It's something that's grown and doesn't supposedly hurt the environment. So a lot of Gen Zs are switching from genuine diamonds to lab-grown diamonds. So that's a change in products that how sustainable that'll be will be a question in the future. But from going from zero, it's probably already about 7-8% of the diamond business. Gold mining, again, the customers that we work with require, where does the gold come from, what country, what mine. So we have to disclose a lot about the supply chain. And I think when you talked about Gen Z consumers, you know, those are important things that they value. And in addition to the quality, craftsmanship, and price. So those are things we try to add.
No, thank you, Dennis. And Fabrizio, I know ethical supply chain, sustainability, near and dear to your heart. Maybe a few thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I really care about it because I have 2 young children and I think about their future. One of the things that I don't like about the travel industry, especially with hotels, is they have such a high impact on the environment that sometimes I also think, what can we do to improve that? So for me, it was very refreshing that, for example, when I joined Citizen M, that everyone was really open-minded about talking about those things and to find ways to improve our impact. And since I joined, I've seen so many initiatives that actually everyone was so excited to support and embrace that I'm very happy with all the progresses. Just to name some of them, we got rid of the single-use plastic across all our hotels, and there isn't a piece of single-use plastic globally. Then we switched all our energy contracts to companies that they could guarantee that 100% of the energy is coming from renewable sources. Then we redesigned, I don't know if you're familiar with our concept, but the bathroom is actually like a caravan pod, a bit bigger. And we partnered with this Belgian company to design and build those units using PET plastic, so it comes from water bottles. And this new technology they developed for us reduced by 87% the emissions we make by building those pods. And last but not least, we have an ambition to start building carbon neutral hotels from the ground up by 2040.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
With the second panel, is going to be moderated by Bill D'Arienzo, PhD and founder of WDA Strategic Brand Marketing. And we have 2 panelists, one in person here, Stefano Giacomelli, CEO of the Tivoli Group, and then we have remotely Fabio Sciuccati, Senior Partner and Head of the European House Ambrosetti's Global Fashion Unit. Some of you might be familiar with European House, is the major Italian think tank, and they organize a famous meeting in September, and they do a lot of research on the Italian market and international marketing. We also were supposed to have Jacques Michel, chairman of Mitchell Stores, but he had an emergency and he couldn't be with us today. So without further ado, Bill, please, I'll let you start your panel. Thank you.
Thank you for being here this morning. To Flavio this afternoon, or early evening almost, I think, yes? And of course to Stefano, who has come here from Florence. We are here this morning to explore the intersection of luxury, of sustainability, and the concept of Italy, both as an operational reality, yes, and as a psychological reality. And that intersection is, of course, challenged in part because of definitional challenges, no? What is sustainability? Do we agree on a definition and understanding? Now, take it a step further, what is luxury? And as we heard from preceding that John moderated, there's fluctuation in there as well. So how do we stabilize these concepts so we can be speaking to each other in a way that can lead to action? Or else we have a wonderful conversation, you know, it's very invigorating, and then we go home. And sustainability cannot, if you will, sustain itself, if you will, unless we begin to take action. So one of the questions we'll also look at today, the convergence of luxury in Italy. Does that give us an advantage in terms of planning and executing sustainability objectives. And I think that's a big question, very big. And I think this is the best, or one of the best forums to explore that dynamic. So without further ado, I'm taking a page out of John's book. This is my Cliff Notes. Remember Cliff Notes from college, anybody? Cliff Notes? This is my Cliff Notes. Cliff, I wrote these. All right, so let's first, is Flavio coming back from? I don't
So
want to say
he's not
anything
going to
else.
be on screen, but we're going to hear him through
So
the
does he
room
hear
record.
me? May I?
Yes,
Oh,
he
okay,
can hear you
Flavio. I'm
perfectly.
going to introduce you first, and then Stefano. Flavio Sinucati is the senior partner for Ambrosetti, the European House. And he is also head of the Global Fashion Unit. In the Global Fashion Unit, I've done some work with them as well, is literally global management and strategic supply chain, fashion, if you will, merchandising, the full complement of the kind of strategic services that you would expect from a first-class management house. Number one in Italy, in the top 3 in Europe, and in the top 100 of 6,000 globally. So this is a serious contender for what we are doing today. Flavio himself teaches as well at Bocconi in the master's program. And again, the client list for Ambrosetti literally runs from A to Z. I'm honored to have at my left and the head CEO of the Tifoli Group. The Tifoli Group is a 40-year-old, actually 40-year-old young because he's in charge of it, yes, a Florentine company that makes the most exquisite creations of handbags and small leather goods and things for the home and things for personal use. And part of the group is not only this incredible company that's been in business for 40 years, but Stefano is also the executive head of that wonderful Smythson Bond Street, you know, that storied, if you will, a retail store. Shouldn't even call it a store, a retail experience, yes? Yeah. Because it is storied, you know, if you will, stationary to the Queen and to the King of England and beyond. So there is that really strong luxury culture inside of the Tifoli Group that comes not only from the products that are distributed in terms of accessories, but in terms of the whole culture as well that Smythson brings to the consciousness of leaders such as Stefano. Stefano himself went to Bocconi. Bocconi's everywhere, no? Everywhere you turn, yes or no? All right, everybody stand who knows something or in touch with Bocconi. We'd all stand up. We don't have time. Maybe later we talk more about Bocconi. But it is, of course, you know, the standard. I don't care, I think. We have Columbia here. I think we respect Bocconi. I do some work at Stern. I think we respect Bocconi, so we can include them within our, yes, circle. Absolutely. In addition, he had the good fortune of attending the leadership training at GE's Institute upstate New York. And that leadership, I think, shows up, and you'll see it today in his vision. I'm putting you on the hot seat now. Yeah. His vision, which is a vision. Yeah, Flavio, how did I do? Where are you?
I am here. Thanks, Bill.
Okay, would you like to add anything?
Good morning to everyone, and apologize if I'm not there. Let me point out that the only 2 persons with the tie, they are Italian. There is a reason for this.
There are a few more.
It's the Americanization of Italy. What can we say? Okay. All right, so let me begin by staging a question, yes? And the question is, luxury is often challenged as being excess, yes? Criticized for stimulating buying and consumption. And therefore, if that's the case, if that argument can be supported, how can we talk about luxury being led, being a leader in terms of sustainability in Italy, and certainly not globally, if not in Italy? So that's primary question. Stefano, you want to take a look at that?
Okay. Thank you, Kenvil. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm bringing the perspective of a manufacturer, so not of a brand, but we work very closely with the brands because we work with their designers, with their creative teams, and then we are the ones that have to make it happen, meaning that we develop protos and then samples and then production of leather goods that then you find in Madison, in Soho, and the luxury stores. And we are good to work with more than one brand, so this helps building, having a better visibility on what's happening, or what the trends are, differences between one brand and the other, Italian and French brands, US brands. And you are right that luxury is always seen, most cases is seen as a source of waste. You have to buy more, maybe to demonstrate, or maybe because you like it and then you no longer like it and you waste it. But probably we need to think in terms of luxury versus fashion. And it's probably more the fashion side of luxury that can bring to overconsumption, can bring to waste, because speaking with a friend a couple of days ago, we were saying we had never seen a single-use Birkin bag. You don't waste it after you have gone to dinner one night, but you may buy something that's much cheaper, that's fashionable, and then you get bored and it remains in your closet, or in the worst case, it goes in the trash. So luxury actually has a meaning of durability, has a meaning of values, has a meaning of personal interest in the product, and it goes beyond the season, it goes beyond the short-term trend, and so true luxury is actually sustainable. And if you think of current trends today, people are happy to buy used leather goods, so pre-loved leather goods. That is again something that helps giving a longer life to a product that doesn't go in the waste again, or the high quality of a product again is in something that may ensure a longer durability. So true luxury is somehow a candidate to be sustainable. Then we can improve a lot. There are a lot of opportunities to be more sustainable than we are today, but I don't see this contradiction between luxury and sustainability. And also, the consumers today, we may see a trend where the consumers are somehow more conscious of the environmental impact of their luxury buying. Still, we see a big contradiction because what the consumers say and what they buy. Speaking with my niece, she came and said, "Oh, look, this is made in Bangladesh. I didn't know. Didn't you check before buying? No, it was nice." Okay, that's the way. So it may be because luxury is expensive, and so you want luxury, you want sustainability, but you can't afford it, or you simply don't know, because the product information that you have when you buy, you actually don't have enough information on how it has been created, how you can dispose of that, the labor force that goes behind it. So this is something that needs to be done on the consumer.
Yeah, I think the definition of value has to be supported with storytelling, no? And we don't do the storytelling about the sustainable value or how it's created. We do the storytelling about the old brand. So Flavio, would you like to comment on that and continue that idea, adding to what Stefano has said about timelessness, of course, but also about the concept of value? Can you talk a little bit about that? Have we done enough to educate the consumer and the public about what goes into the creation of classic luxury products that's sustainable, if you will, input? You know, whether it has to do with how it's sourced, whether it has to do with how it's produced, how workers are treated. What's going on your end, Flavio, in that regard?
Yes, Bill, thank you very much for this question. Do you hear me well?
Yes, very well, thank
Yes.
you.
Okay. Let me, as you know, and probably we will go deeper on this. We have a forum focus on this. So if you like, later on, I will explain to you which is our target and why we do this in Venice. But answering to your question, from our point of view, of course, our observatory is from Italy, but we look at all the Europe and all the world, considering that, as you know well, the main part of the manufacturing and supply chain of the high end of the market, fashion luxury, is made in Italy, mainly in Italy, and most of the brand, mainly Italian, French, UK, and some way also US, they develop here in Italy. According to us, according our study, we see that there are, let me say, just to be very clear, essentially 5 main points related to sustainability that they demonstrate that this industry, the fashion luxury, is extremely late with respect to other industries like automotive, energy, electronics, agri-food, and so on. And I make a list. First of all, as also Stefano was saying, excess of production and consumption. I give you some number. You know that the total value of fashion in general, I mean, every category, clothing, footwear, jewelry, leather goods, eyewear, and so on, is $2.5 trillion. Okay, we are speaking of 180 billion of items and of apparel and 15 billions of footwear. So the question is if we need all these things compared to the number of people we are on the planet. Now you can easily calculate how many pieces of this we use every year. Consider also that in the last year, the effect of relating mainly to e-commerce, that we speak of products that are unsold and return in e-commerce in the range of 30–40%. So there is a lot of product now that is in stock. In fact, now in the next months, probably the keyword will be destocking. The fashion, also through some special event, every brand will try to destock from this. The second is the attitude of consumer. The problem is that the consumer now, mainly also the young generation, the new generation, they say we are sustainable, we like sustainability, but they don't pay for this. They say we like, we want, but they're not ready or able to pay more for this. That's one problem that probably in the next future should be solved. The third element that, according to me, is the mainly related to Italian manufacturing, because we can do this due to the fact that we are very, very strong in this, is the life cycle of the product, the global life cycle. Consider that when we speak of circularity, eco-design, end of life, reuse, everything, this means that in fashion luxury, we should design and develop the product in a new way, in a different way, as other industries do. because when we speak in other industries, and they started 20 years ago, it's quite normal that the designer, the product manager, everyone is thinking of a new way of designing the product, the so-called eco-design. The first element is regulation. Of course, we need regulation, but consider that in Europe, we have hundreds of rules. People are crazy about this. There are a lot of certification audit. And another point is that there is a different speed, a different approach between Europe, between European Union, US, and of course, Asia, that is far from this. The final point that I know that you like is the human right. Of course, when we speak of sustainability, we mainly focus on environment, carbon dioxide, gas emission. We don't care about human rights. And that's an important point, because, for instance, when we see this from Italy and big part of Europe, this is not a problem. From this point of view, Italy mainly, but also the main part of Europe is sustainable from this point of view. There are other parts of the world that are not sustainable.
So we're going to have here our closing remarks by Alberto Milani, our president. He's one of also co-founder of Piazza Italia, has a long career with luxury brand Buccellati, Bulgari. But before hearing from him, we're going to hear from our main sponsor, Luca Bonardi. So Luca, thank you very much for hosting us here, and take the floor.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming in person and also online. Thank you for the very good questions, which I think they made the presentation very interesting. I think that I'd like to thank you also on behalf of KPMG. I am a tax partner here in the New York Metro office. Just like to spend a couple of minutes with some considerations on what I heard today. First, I heard some relatively good news about the consumer, which is benefiting from plateauing interest rates. I hear that there is some dry powder, so $1 trillion that is in excess savings that can be spent, and very interesting to hear about the $80 trillion that is going to be passed down or spent either by the baby boomers or by the next generation. I found the other two panels very interesting in the discussion of the trends with the luxury. I found interesting the discussion about the role of online and technology in connecting brands with the consumers. I feel bad that I was not invited to the Hamptons Todd's party. And so that was very interesting. I also found interesting the concept. In my mind, luxury is associated with history, with craftsmanship, but the concept that really anyone is a consumer of luxury brands, and it's just a matter of connecting in the right way with your product or with your experience. Going to the ESG discussion, and I found very interesting the discussion around the role of luxury brands in leading the way with respect to sustainability. And we all know how it is important for all of the companies to really be not just a corporate citizen, but the consumer, the stakeholders expect a company to be really deliberate on how it manages ESG. KPMG has been working on the ESG for over 30 years, and just in the US we have 1,000 US employees that are dedicated to this area. I like to conclude with a comment. It's not just companies that have the responsibility around ESG, it's also all of us, and I am sure that many of us do our part. I just like to put the spotlight on one of our panelists, Tracy Henderson. She is involved in two volunteer initiatives, and hopefully some of your connections or of your companies could be of help. She's on the board of the scholarship, the Fashion Scholarship Fund, which provides scholarships to diverse students to succeed in fashion. And she's also a co-founder of Fashion Tech Connect, which connects young women of color with the opportunity to have internship in fashion. So check out her profile and see if you can do something with your companies or your connections with her. And with that, I thank you very much for participating, both the panelists and you as the audience. Thank you very much.
So before we give the floor to Alberto Milani, I also would like to take this opportunity to thank those who have worked tirelessly on this initiative. So thanks to Alice Biagini and Gretchen Buster for working on behalf of the Chamber in putting together this event. And thanks again for all the sponsors for this. Alberto.
Okay, so after lunch, I will try to end it up in a brighter note. I do have a video that I'm going to show you. It's about 2.5 minutes. If you want to look at it later on, we don't have to go through the entire video. But we mentioned today to our friend from the hotel industry that which is true actually, a few years back, 3 minutes check-in seemed pretty reasonable. Now 3 minutes somehow it's a long time. So we on the other side we heard from a different kind of panelist that you need to know where the product is coming from and training and explaining and history behind. So those two things are not somehow matching. There is one sense of urgency, one sense of relevance, and one sense of history of storytelling. So how we navigate into that, and I may have an answer for you, but I think that this video will make you laugh for a while, all right?
Where's the buttons?
Oh no, they installed voice recognition technology in this lift. I heard about this.
Voice recognition technology? In a lift? In Scotland? You ever tried voice recognition technology?
No.
They don't do Scottish accents.
11.
Could you please repeat that?
11.
11. 11.
11.
Could you please repeat that?
11.
Whose idea was this? You need to try an American accent. 11. 11.
That sounds Irish, no American.
Not, doesn't it? 11.
Where in America is that? Dublin?
I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?
Try an English accent, right? 11. 11.
You for the same part of England as Dick Van Dyke?
Listen, yours then, smart ass.
Please speak slowly and clearly.
Smart ass.
11.
I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?
11. If you don't understand the lingo, away back home to your own country.
Ooh, is that talk now, is it? Away back to your own country?
Oh, don't start, Mr. Bleeding Heart. How can you be racist to a lift?
Please speak slowly and clearly.
11. 11. 11. 11.
You're just saying it the same way.
I'm going to keep saying it until I understand Scottish, all right? 11. 11. 11. 11.
I'll just take us anywhere, you cow. Just open the doors.
This is a voice-activated elevator. Please state which floor you would like to go to in a clear and calm manner.
Calm. Calm. Where's that coming from? Why is it telling people to be calm?
Because they knew they'd be selling this to Scottish people who'd be going off for nuts at it.
You have not selected a floor.
Aye, we have! 11!
If you would like to get out of the elevator without selecting a floor, simply say, "Open the doors, please."
Please? Please? Suck my wally.
Maybe we should just say please.
I'm not begging that for nothing.
Open the doors, please.
Please. Pathetic.
Please remain calm.
Oh,
What do you want up tonight? Get him up now. Hey, just wait for it to speak.
You have not selected a floor.
Ah, mules, you cow! You don't answer these doors. I'm going to come to America. I'm going to find whatever desperate actress gave you a voice, and I'm going to go in an electric chair for you.
Scotland, you bastard!
Scotland!
Scotland!
Scotland! Freedom!
All right, so I guess there's a couple of things to learn. Okay, technology at the end was supposed to be used to go from point A to point B in the shortest time possible. I remember when I was a kid in South Italy, was an elevator used to put a flip coin machine to make it work. So could you imagine where we're starting from? And now you have. So how somebody in the elevator that is helping you through, or even better, like you did this morning, you go to elevator according to the floor that you want to go to. But it's not enough. No, it has to be quicker. It has to go somehow. That I have to go to the elevator and I have to say where I'm going, and the elevator is taking me. So this is the case A that I was discussing before, trying to make it as quick as possible. Then there is the other side of the coin, that obviously by definition you have to stay in the middle, and you cannot come up with different kind of interpretation, different kind of language, different kind of, I should say, finesse within the audience, which is basically what Bill and his partner were saying before. The end of the story is our world is getting crazy, right, somehow, because in the same time it's pushing in two different ways. Politics, wars everywhere, so it is definitely not a nice time. So how are we gonna come up with a final takeaway that is saying something that nobody said today? We have to put human being in the center of what we're doing. Because without the human being, anything we're doing doesn't count. Thank you very much.
Since we didn't have the opportunity to ask questions to the previous panelists, I don't know if there was any question for Bill on sustainability and his, guest. If there's any of you that was wondering. Oh.
Everybody wants to go home.
I think. Well, then thank you very much for attending this event. Thanks a lot to all of you, and I'll see you next year. Thank you.